shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
Calais is one of our proudest battle honours, and it stems from the actions which took place in May 1940 in Calais itself, at the time of the evacuation from Dunkirk of the British Expeditionary Force. At that time, 3 battalions of Green Jackets found themselves in Calais forming a defensive perimeter against the Germans. Orders were, eventually, that the brigade should hold to the very end. And this is exactly what happened.
Immer neue Scharen von Engländern und Franzosen mit ihren Hilfsvölkern geraten in Gefangenschaft.
Nobody was taken away, and the casualties were enormous. It was, I think, an example of great gallantry, certainly of great sacrifice, and enormous heroism.
Calais, the Somme, Ladysmith, Inkerman, Corunna, Waterloo, the Peninsula. Most of our great military conflicts in more than a century and a half are included among the battle honours of a regiment of the Light Division now called the Royal Green Jackets. From the battlefields of northern France, back across the Channel to Dover, historically a strong point in our island defences, fortified by the Romans and the Normans, and garrisoned today by the 1st Battalion of the Royal Green Jackets. The regiment is an amalgamation of the Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, the King's Royal Rifle Corps, and the Rifle Brigade. And in those names lie some of the clues to what makes the Royal Green Jackets feel that they're a different kind of infantry, with different traditions and a better way of soldiering. First, they're light infantry, specifically raised in 1800 to operate as a skirmishing force ahead of the tightly formed squares of red-coated troops. They were dressed in camouflage green, lightly equipped and fast-moving. Above all, they were riflemen. Unlike the clockwork soldiers in their red coats, they were individual marksmen, armed with a new grooved rifle, independent and self-sufficient. They were the model for the modern infantryman, the thinking, fighting soldier. It's that tradition, it's claimed, that has survived to bring the Royal Green Jackets their undoubted success, a tradition supporting the battalion's 600 soldiers in 5 recent tours in Northern Ireland, in their forthcoming duties in Cyprus, even in the peaceful routine of garrison life.
We tend to play down as a regiment, I think, perhaps the outward and visible forms of military life. We like to concentrate on what we think is the essence of our profession. Those are the purely military aspects of it.
Ultimately, of course, one is training them to go to war, and one is training them, one hopes, to a sufficient standard that they will be able not only to survive, but to carry out any jobs that they're given.
And it's difficult to try and teach somebody of 18 to kill somebody, but basically anybody who's in a situation where it's them or the other person, you know, he's going to react hopefully in the right way, kill him.
If you've been taught to aim your rifle properly, pull the trigger and hit the man, then that's what you do. But as the bullet or the round leaves the barrel, you do not think to yourself, I am now killing somebody. Because if you did, then you possibly wouldn't pull the trigger.
When the job has got to be done, then you've got to do it properly. And if you shoot to kill, and the man at the other end of my rifle dies because he's doing something bad, then I will not feel anything.
Left, right, left, there.
Green Jackets march much faster than other soldiers. It seems they must be different. Throughout the army, this exclusive quality, plus the black in their uniforms, has earned them the name of the Black Mafia. The army has always attached great importance to drill, but not the Green Jackets. Normally, this morning muster parade is the only regular drill they do. But now they're preparing for public duties, standing guard at Buckingham Palace and the Tower of London. And Major Grey Gilbert must make sure that the 3 platoons of A Company, which he commands, are stepping up on the spit and polish. 29 men of number 1 platoon will soon be performing the ceremony of the keys at the tower, a function more usually carried out by the immaculate ranks of the Brigade of Guards.
Not civilian yet, Shanahan. Right.
I'm a disciplinarian, but I'm not a strict disciplinarian in the traditional sense of the word. We have, in the Green Jackets, a very relaxed form of discipline.
Centre!
Obviously, if someone goes and does something damn silly, he gets punished for it, and it's quite right that he should. On the other hand, we're not constantly on the riflemen's backs the whole time, telling them to do this, telling them to do that. They're expected to do it with a minimum amount of fuss.
You've got, I don't know if it's dust or what, all over the back of your collar and on the back of your sweater. Your sideburns are coming down as well.
We all reckon that we're a class above the rest, you know. We're not by-the-book tick-tock soldiers, you know. I've said it before, like, everybody reckons this is a good fighting regiment, which it is.
I like it as it is, you know, the Green Jackets. I wouldn't like to have to call corporals or stand up when the officer comes in a room or anything like that, which we don't do here.
Our philosophy, which some people think is easygoing, demands higher professional standards than that of any other corps, regiment, or division in the army. Of this I have absolutely no shadow of doubt at all. And if we allow ourselves to slip in this way, we get sloppy, we get arrogant, and we are bad.
Bull banishes any sign of sloppiness in A Company this week. Number 1 platoon's quarters present scenes of unaccustomed activity. They reek of boot polish and resentment.
You never see this in us here. Normally, it's only because we're going to London and we're doing it. Normally, I suppose everybody would call us scruffy. This regiment, I don't think's a polishing or marching around regiment. I reckon this is more fighting soldiers than polishing, you know. This is barrack room stuff, you know, Buckingham Palace all the time, like the guards that are there all the time. It's not for us. Once it's over, all this be thrown back in the boxes and forgotten about.
Nice slow, 112, remember? He's not a young man, the warder. Keep your arms up. But we're going through, we're heading towards Traitors Gate. Nearly through the bloody tower. Right, there we are, now we're going to...
At the moment, we're drilling most of the time under the sergeant from the Coldstream Guards who's taken the responsibility for training the people for the Tower of London. I think the riflemen are adapting to it. When they're first told to do something, they always complain. But it's all mouth, really.
Come on, slow it down. Speed it up. More yet.
Of course, having the Company Sergeant Major and Sergeant from the Coldstream Guards down with us, I think the riflemen find it slightly strange, but it's improving their drill.
Back to pride! Back to style! On the Royal Green Jackets, nobody should get in your way! We'll go straight back on the guard mountain procedure, and that should iron out all those little points of marching from Wellington Barracks to that famous place called Buckingham Palace! Hold your heads up! Now you're dressing! It's horrible! Get hold of your rifles! Hold the rifle in the correct position of the trio! You hold it there like a handbag! I'll come along and break the straps! Now come on, gentlemen, get hold of those swords! I shall start mentioning a few names! Hold your heads up! I shall come across there and punch your nervous system in a moment! Get the arm parallel to the ground! Get the thumb on the top of the forefinger! The stomach in! The chest out! Look in the back of the collar! Look out!
But army life is not just the noisy illogic of the parade ground or the bachelor bonhomie of the barrack room. The Ladybirds Club for Soldiers' Wives is a reminder that over half the battalion are married men living ordinary family lives, or as ordinary as they can be. Lest the riflemen should forget, the colonel forewarns the wives of the battalion's movements.
I've asked particularly that I should be allowed to talk to you this evening because it's the beginning of a year and I can tell you what I am planning should happen in the battalion in the year ahead. Now, the first thing I'd like to touch on is public duties, because that's almost upon us. And now, at the end of a lot of hard work, the battalion is about ready to mount guard at Buckingham Palace and at the Tower of London. Now, this is a very auspicious occasion, and it's the first time that a battalion of Green Jackets, a regiment of Green Jackets, has ever been invited to carry out these duties. And if you possibly can, I would ask that you go up to London and support your husband and watch him while he's doing it. and we'll...
New Guard! Present! Arms!
I think it's a great honour for us to do public duties. It's not a thing that I would like to do all the time, but it's something different. And I think for a month, it's probably just about right. We've built up to it, done a lot of hard work, but it's something that one will never forget. And, you know, when you see the Tower of London in the future, you always think that once I was standing there.
Dominoes help to fill the 48 hours that No. 1 platoon guards the tower. 2 hours on sentry duty, followed by 4 hours off. A way of life that does not appeal to Rifleman Bill Crosby from Sunderland.
This thing is not soldering. It's a big balls yet. I don't enjoy this sort of thing. I'm sure none of the other blokes do, but we're down here. It's not long. You know, you just take it as it comes.
Scotland Yard have warned people to be on their guard against possible terrorist attacks following the death of the
It's really the same old things, nothing exciting really in here. Pass the time away. Just sitting about when your kit's done, you sit up playing dominoes cards, and you just got to sit there. You don't feel tired or nothing, you know. You just sit in your bed and think about things, you know. I don't think anybody's happy here. But it's better than standing out there for 2 hours.
Who's king? Queen Elizabeth's keys. Pass, Queen Elizabeth's keys, and all's well. Escort to the gate. By the centre. March.
The ancient ceremony of the keys. Bill Crosby, the duty sentry, permits the warder of the tower to march on and complete the nightly ritual.
Escort to the keys. Out. Guard and escort. Present! Arms! God preserve Queen Elizabeth! Amen!
Back to the shadows of another ancient fortress, Dover Castle, and back to the administrative routine that is such a large part of peacetime soldiering. The 3 platoon commanders and sergeants and the sergeant major of Letter A Company gather for their regular meeting, chaired by the company commander.
There are quite a lot of points to get through this afternoon, so if there's nothing terribly relevant, if you can not bring it up, and we can all get away. Public duty is now over. There's a letter here from the commanding officer saying how chuffed he was, how it all went, and all the rest of it, and also stating that he reckons that all the drill and so forth had a very good effect on the battalion, which I totally agree with. And he congratulates everyone on the effort and the way it was handled and everything else, which I totally agree with. The next point I want to talk to you about is the company account. And I'm going to be rather arbitrary here, and I'm not going to allow great discussions and so forth on the account. There is a deficit at the moment of £25 approximately on the Boxing trip. Barrack damages is even worse. There's been no levies made for barrack damages now for about 9 months, as far as I can find out. And I'm just not prepared to write this off, because I see no reason why riflemen should break things and then get away without paying for it. Now, £33.30 is accounted for to individuals for various broken doors and that sort of thing, and the remaining £33 will be recovered from platoons along the lines that I laid down over the page in paragraph 9. Now, this money is to be paid in to the account without fail. And I'm not prepared to arbitrate any way about it. If the money is not paid in to Mr. Steele by Friday, there are two options open to me. One, I can debit your platoon funds direct, or I will invite the two commanders to fork out the money, which no doubt will get them moving on collecting the money from the riflemen.
Barney, I want a pound off you. It's barrack room damages. Got a pound? Got a checkbook?
No, my check's bounced.
Come on, go get your checkbook. Make it out for a pound, all right? And I'll tell you how to make it out. Go on.
Each platoon is divided into 3 sections, and the job of collecting the cash is finally passed down to Corporal Wright and the other section commanders. In good military units, it's noticeable that a curious kind of family relationship develops.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, for crying out loud, Barney, what's the matter with all this here? Look at it. You never make a record of it. Where's your book? Where's your book with everything you pay on? God, you make me bloody mad, you do sometimes. I mean, look, how much have you got back in your bank? You don't know, do you?
31 £30.
Yeah, how do you know? Tell me how you bloody know.
I don't know yesterday.
Have you got your book where you put everything in there?
No, I ain't got it.
God. Yeah, look. Write it on there, and I'll spell it for you. Pay Central Bank, 1 RGJ, in brackets A Company. Central Bank, CENTRAL, Bank, Butternucker.
Central Bank.
Yeah, 1 RGJ.
I'm not going to fit it all along there, am I?
Yeah, put it 1 RGJ along there, and in brackets A Company.
Why isn't Mason paid?
He hasn't got his checkbook. He hasn't got any checks left, and he also hasn't got any money.
Has he got any rings, valuables, watches?
Cigarette coupons will not be accepted.
Big Mott hasn't got what?
No, he hasn't got a checkbook either. His is at home.
Couldn't Barnes do it for him?
I suppose he could, but I mean...
They're going on leave together.
Yeah, but old Barney, I mean, you can't trust him with a cheque anyway. I mean, look at the cheque he wrote out here. I mean, you can hardly understand the thing. And it probably bounced anyway.
As I looked at his checkbook and all the stubs are...
Yeah.
We've just about got 10. Give or take a few.
Well, it's just a question of getting it before the Sergeant Major starts.
Team. There's the...
Sergeant Major's already started.
Well, I know. OK, we'll get all the money then, which we can get today, and if there's anything...
Mr. Smith, he's a platoon commander. He's responsible for the whole platoon, possibly 34 men. But at the same time, he hasn't had the experience that a sergeant has. Therefore, being very subtle, you must give him advice where it counts and show him to follow the right course.
There are various things that only a platoon sergeant can deal with, and I would never hope to because I'm too young and too inexperienced. But there are other aspects, like when we're working out in the field, and we're talking about training matters, when perhaps I have the edge.
Sergeant Crew?
Hello, Leo.
Yeah, the beaver's confirmed for this afternoon.
Right.
Oh, I think what we'll do is sort of work out exactly what we're going to do.
Right.
There are going to be 2 drops. The first one for the enemy, and then the second one for the rest of the platoon.
The reason we're here on Salisbury Plain is to give the whole platoon a chance to lead patrols, to make command decisions, and to be given a certain amount of independence to go and do their own thing. They would like to say, oh, let me go out on my own because I can do it. Well, here's the chance to prove that they can.
It's just me on the left-hand tree. See? He's in the same place as he was this morning then? Yep. Okay. I think, Bill, we'll move round and we'll have a go just over there. We may be able to see something from behind those bushes there.
On Salisbury Plain, No. 1 platoon is on its own for 3 days, away from barrack-room routine. Corporal Bob Wright and Rifleman Bill Crosby are leading a reconnaissance patrol to find the enemy position and how it's defended. The enemy is the other half of the platoon. It may look like war games for grown-ups, but apart from Northern Ireland, it's the nearest thing they get to real combat. When Crosby and Wright report back to Lieutenant Smith, it's all in deadly earnest.
Well, we couldn't see a lot, you know, looking through binos and things like this, so we moved further right and further forward. And then we heard noises, voices, and we, in fact, moved right up to their lines, where they must have been about 30 yards away. What do you reckon, Bill?
Less?
Less? 25?
Yeah. I have to make it appear that they are telling me for the first time, whereas I know where the enemy are because I put them out there. Otherwise, if the section commanders know that I know where the enemy are all the time, it loses realism for them.
Well, we only saw about 3 or something, plus the sentry, but we heard more voices.
And if we did do an attack, from what side do you see it?
The best way would be through the sentries. Through the sentries part, don't you reckon? Because it's a hell of a long way, you know, to get round behind them, innit?
Yes, but if we use the helicopter, you see?
Helicopter.
This is what we term a counter-revolutionary exercise. Rather like a jungle exercise. Our enemy are supposed to be a sort of hodgepodge army who have infiltrated into Wiltshire and who are sort of trying to take over the country. And we've come up from Kent, which is a sort of a friendly country, and sort of trying to get rid of insurgents. Right, let's have the 2 men back there. Straight. Okay? These 2 here.
I like an exercise now and then, you know what I mean? And it's good, you have a good laugh if you get in with the right blokes and you get the right sort of people leading you. You get the right sort of exercise, you have a really good laugh.
Hello, 1-1, this is 1-1 Lima. We have just taken the position. We're checking it through now. I hope to call for Hawkeye to come and pick us up in about 5 to 10 minutes. Over.
I'll just bring out a few points as a debrief on that. We went through with the assault, and that was quite good. A lot of dashing around, aggression, and that was good. However, individual fire positions are bad, and when you take a fire position, you must get down, get into cover, and then get the weapon up with the aim and take a shot. Okay, there was some terrible weapon handling, and the positions people were holding their weapons when they were firing them were very, very bad. I love responsibility. I like to make decisions. And with the training one has at Sandhurst and from just general experience and various courses one goes on, you build up confidence in yourself and an ability to lead. And although my riflemen are the same age as me, and we're all young, we all like sort of getting up to the things that young people do, I have still got to remember that ultimately I'm the one that's going to make the decisions and that they will respect me.
He's young like us and he does know his stuff. He's been about. He's probably seen a bit more than we have, you know. He's been away on courses which you could get. But as long as they're with the lads a certain part of the way, you know, that's the way we like them. If they're up and up snobs like upper class yobs like, we don't want to know.
A bad rifleman is someone who is constantly complaining that conditions aren't right. The food's not right, and when you're out in the field it's too wet and his trench is too uncomfortable, which it may be, but he doesn't have to keep on telling me.
The worst officers that we get are the new ones. They've just come out of Sandhurst, they're pretty young. They've got all these super ideas about leading men into battle and all this, you know. They give you some really stupid things to do, you know. They take it like as though you're still in training. Well, you're not, you're all trained soldiers, you can all do a good job. And there's no need for people really to tell you to do it all the time. They've got this idea that you can't do nothing, you're thick.
But I can imagine somebody coming straight from public school into Sandhurst. The only people they've seen is a guard's colour sergeant and a few sergeant majors. They've never seen a rifleman before. And it comes as a great shock to them. And of course, now I think the riflemen are fantastic, excellent, greatest thing since sliced bread.
As the flags are lowered, the evening social activities separate the regiment along its military demarcation lines. Once a week in the officers' mess, they don black ties and entertain their guests to dinner.
Have you taken it?
Are you offering me a double?
Change set. I've got about 50 shirts from set. Yeah. I won't have to buy another for the next 15 years.
I dropped out of the Dog Warfare course in Singapore and came back with a whole sort of trunk full of shirts.
Yes. Empty boxes going out and full boxes coming back.
It's true.
Well. To cart all goodies.
It's a sky, isn't it? You just take the guys off. You do a really rather good number.
Are you taking a whole lot out?
No, only 2 of them. Robert and Kevin, yes, that's right. They can pester all the Arabs out there.
Do we hear about him? He tried to take the tiles off the church wall during the communion service or something.
I rather like the financial world tonight, where they start talk about softs and hards and all that sort of stuff.
Is this on BBC?
Do you know what I mean?
What?
You know what a soft and a hard is?
Yes, I soft as cocoa and stuff like that. And hards are metals and ores.
Dinner's ready.
Meanwhile, in another building nearby, the senior non-commissioned officers are summoned to their regimental mess night. Roughly once a month, the sergeants and warrant officers gather at their mess for a regimental dinner. It's an occasion to bring out the silver, dress up in full mess kit, and sit down to a more than average meal. Tonight, at £3 a head, there's egg mayonnaise, consommé julienne, chicken Kiev, cherry flan, and several wines, for which to give thanks.
Gentlemen, grace. For what we are about to receive, may the Lord make us truly thankful.
The dress is less formal at the Riflemen's Club.
You'll get married, you're in trouble.
Next morning I was up before the Colonel. Again, within 2 days.
I should have said, are you ready for a wee-wee? That would go down a lot better, I'm sure.
Gentlemen, be upstanding. Gentlemen, a toast. The regiment.
The regiment.
The regiment.
The morning after. The bugle call brings the regiment unwillingly back to life and tells them that, for those that can face it, a hearty breakfast is being served in the cookhouse.
For what we pay, 60 pence a day for 3 big filling meals, and you can have as much as you want. You know, I can't see anybody in Civvy Street getting the same as that.
I can't even call it. Hey Barney, you back up again last night? Did you get it again last night?
It's all plain food, there's nothing fancy. Because I've seen it over in our cookhouse, they put out something fancy. And I've had a go at it. And sometimes it's been pretty good, but other blokes, I'd rather have steak and kidney pud. It's the same in the town, they won't go for Chinese thing or pizzas. They'd rather have fish and chips.
Anyway, excuse me.
We don't do nothing, really. You might get the odd few hours working, and then the rest of the time you're just waiting to do something. That's the biggest part of the army. You know, if you're in for 3 years, 2 years of it, you're waiting to do something. It's just ordinary like barrack life, sitting around doing nothing. I like it. They've got nothing for us to do really. Just the odd bit of training here and there. That would be a couple of hours in the morning, a couple of hours in the afternoon. So they just fit in on stupid things that we don't like doing, like assault course and running around. It's just to fill in time, you know, because they don't like to think that you're lying about doing nothing.
Come on, push it off. Come on, like bloody old man, get over there. Oh, come on, come on. Come on. Get on. That's all right, son. Oh, come on. Chuck him down.
Take it easy, just take it easy. That's it. That's it.
Come on! One of you get in front of these bears and receive the can. Come on. One of you get across these gates after you come down. Come on, get on now. That's it, now down. Get down right now. Okay. Right, go. Come on, the rest of you. Come on, down and up. Right, come on. Well, last man. Well done. That's all right. Here now. 6 minutes, 57 seconds.
When I'm training men, and we're out in the field, it's difficult to think that we are training for a war, because at the moment, apart from Northern Ireland, there is no place where we're likely to go, apart from Germany. And it is difficult to keep it in mind that one is training them to kill other men.
Bombers! Go!
This is basically an exercise in urban operations, the sort of thing one does anywhere in the world. And when you do house clearing operations, each rifleman has a specific job to do, and it gives them all a chance to practice it.
I often wondered, you all wonder in Northern Ireland, will you come under fire and what will it be like when you do? You don't spend ponderous hours worrying about it, but sometimes, possibly just before you drop off to sleep or at a certain time when you're not involved in conversation, then you might think about it. It didn't frighten me. I thought, well, is this really happening? Now I found out what it's really like. And from then, you only have a second, and then you have to start taking action.
You enjoy it, though. You look forward to a bit of excitement, like when you're over there.
You build up that much tension when you're over there, you know. If it does happen, you get a chance to let it out, like, you know what I mean?
So at times you're almost willing for something to happen. You want something to go on. You want some excitement. You want something to happen.
Yeah, because it gets boring most of it. You know? We have to make our own laughs over there because nothing happens hardly. In a way, it's your job, really, isn't it? To shoot people. I mean, it's one reason to join the army, really, isn't it?
Well, it is. What do you think about that?
Well, if they're going to shoot at me, like, I'm going to shoot back anyway. Yeah, I'm going to stand there and let them shoot at me, like.
You've got him in the leg there, a bit low there. Have a go. Keep holding the weapon. Watch the one coming out the door. He'll fire at you. No, you just went slightly left there. Keep watching that. No, you've got him in the leg there. Watch the trees behind. They're lurking there somewhere.
Sharpshooting practice under Corporal Bob Wright. In the months preceding the battalion's departure for Cyprus, there's a special build-up in training. In this ingeniously equipped range, the rifleman shoots at projected targets with live ammunition. As he fires, the picture on the screen freezes and dims for 5 seconds. A small hole appears on the paper screen where the bullet strikes, and Corporal Wright can judge the accuracy of the shot.
OK, unload.
After shooting, Rifleman Jim Fox and Terry Irvin follow the Green Jackets' ritual and give their rifles the most scrupulous cleaning. Following the same tradition, Corporal Wright will still find fault. In the Green Jackets, there's always been a special emphasis on marksmanship and a special relationship between the man and his rifle. One day, his life may depend on it. And with departure for Cyprus imminent, that day could be sooner rather than later.
Most of us are getting pretty excited about Cyprus, because it's only a couple of weeks away. And we'll probably find that really interesting for the first couple of months, and then it will go a bit monotonous.
For me, it's great. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, getting away from England. You know, it's going to be a really good break for us, I reckon. And there's, you know, you've got opportunities out there to do things you wouldn't be able to do here. Skiing, surfing, etc. But mind you, by the time 6 months is up, I'll probably be looking forward to coming back to Dover.
Looking at the map, the first thing that you notice about the island is the long line that goes the entire way across the island. This is the Attila line and marks the line where the Turkish invasion got to in 1974. You will be deployed in the eastern sovereign base area at Dekilia. This is the uniform you'll be wearing in the sovereign base area. The United Nations wear a slightly different uniform, and as you can see, it's lightweight with the minimum of equipment on it.
1 pair of puttees, 1 hat, 3 trousers and 3 shirts. Check it all with you. 3 shirts, 3 trousers, 1 pair of puttees, 1 hat. Okay? Don't fit, bring it back.
Should we try that on?
What?
Why not? That's lovely. In fact, it is a bit small. Yeah, no, it might help.
It's all right.
Beautiful.
Sheet here, which some of you have got, Egan's got one, is a battalion contents list for individual boxes. And what all it is a list you fill in, and fill it in duplicate, with item and quantity, so that you know at the other end, if anything goes missing, what was in that particular box, okay? And if somebody asks you, have you packed so-and-so, well, you can look down here and say, well, I have packed it.
Old soldiers may be surprised at the informality of the rifleman when dealing with their platoon commander. Nobody leaps to attention nowadays, and that's how the Green Jackets think it should be in today's army.
Have you got one of these forms?
3.
You've got 3. Have you filled them in?
Well, I've only just started packing.
Okay. Do you know exactly what to do? I'm just going to quickly go through it. Forget about that. Number, rank, name. Forget about that. And box number, how many boxes you're going to take. Item down here. Quantity down there in case anything gets lost.
When a battalion moves, its household gods go with it. From the officers and sergeants' mess, that means the silver and the pictures and the trophies that will make the new quarters feel like home. And to make the rifleman feel at home in Cyprus, his rifle, to be packed with tender, loving care and kiss goodbye till the great reunion across the water. While the bulk of the battalion will make the move by air, Lieutenant Michael Smith and other junior officers set off overland to Cyprus, across Europe by mini and by motorbike. Before they reach the end of the month-long journey, they'll have the usual kind of adventures. Those black Mafia t-shirts should go down well in Italy. It's end of term, chaps. Happy holes.
The battalion's now been out here in Cyprus for 2 weeks. We're split between half the battalion in Dekilia in the sovereign base area and the rest of us up here in a camp just outside Nicosia airport. Our role up here is really unique. We're the only part of the British Army which is part of a United Nations force. Our job here is to preserve the ceasefire. And we do that by manning a series of observation posts and standing patrols along what is known as the demilitarized zone.
Every 10 days, helicopters carry a section of 6 to 8 men out to the demilitarized zone to relieve others manning the observation posts. 10 days they're here to observe and report the forward movement of Turks and Greeks. 10 days to keep the peace between the two sides, somehow. 10 days when 4 hours of observation will be followed by 6 to 8 hours of leisure to be filled, somehow. It can be monotonous work. For hours, days, even weeks, nothing will happen. And it's easy for the soldiers to believe that nothing ever will happen. But there's still the rifle to be cleaned, just in case, and there's always the chance of a surprise visit by the colonel to keep them on their toes. Colonel Jones's helicopter is always on the move up and down his part of the Attila line. As part of the international force, he and his men have shed their green berets and donned UN baby blue.
How are we? All right? All right. What I'd like, first, Corporal Brooks, if you could please tell me, you know, what you're doing here, and then after that, if we could have a look around the camp.
First of all, our left of arc, sir, if you can see the tower.
That's easy.
If you can imagine a line from that tower,
Yes.
dropping down to the tree line.
Yes.
And that is their front line, sir.
Yes.
The copse in the middle is,
Yes.
we believe, a company position.
Yes.
Earlier on this morning, just before first light, there was a report there might have been a forward movement.
Yeah.
But observation during the day is...
Did you
proved
report this?
Yeah, it was reported, sir, yes, sir.
But, and you're quite clear that it wasn't a move
It wasn't
forward.
a forward, no, sir.
British territory, the sovereign base at Decalia, also guarded by green jackets.
Hello, Zero. This is 1-1. We are now in position at Glen Eagles, Oscar Papa. There is a funeral moving directly from the church into the village. Over.
Rifleman Fox and Irvin report on any threat, however unlikely. To this, almost the last of the great British bases abroad.
Good turnout, Jim. You went on the shots earlier. Do you think they had anything to do with the funeral?
Nah, otherwise they'd had it down at the church.
Oh, that's true.
I reckon it was, see that blue handcart, that yard there, go right inside, you know, you got that shutter thing?
Yeah, I've got it.
In there, that's what I think.
Yeah, we've done that earlier. I don't reckon it is that. I reckon it was further away.
Come on, there's people all over the place, isn't there?
It's hard to tell though with a valley like this. You want pictures tomorrow?
When?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, Ken's going out. Wednesday. I might go tonight on Wednesday instead.
No, George is coming. In the week.
No, I've seen it. Don't think I'll see it again. If I do, it'll be Saturday afternoon.
Greg's trying to get off with that bird, you know.
Hey? Greg?
Yeah.
Well, the one behind the counter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
He's 16, you know.
Yeah, I know. Looks older though.
Our job is to guard and defend the sovereign base area against anybody, really, who we don't want to come in. That could be the Turkish army who are to our north, or to communist groups who are in Cyprus who don't like the British presence here. We patrol around the area, and it's all very relaxed and low profile, but it could turn very, very nasty.
OK, we're going to do another patrol in the Atha refugee camp. Corporal Wright, you'll go in the mobile. The rest of us will do a foot patrol. We'll get off the vehicle and move down through the main marketplace. Now, you've all done these patrols before. And remember that the reason we do them is to show the flag, OK, to the Greek Cypriots who are living in the refugee camp. OK, just so they know that we're still around. So we'll walk down. If you see anybody who you've seen before, or anybody you want to stop and have a chat to, stop and have a chat to him, OK? Don't make it too long, but at all times be courteous and friendly towards them.
Hello. Morning. How are you? All right? All right? Good, good. Hello?
Hello.
Speak English?
The people there are friendly, most of them I should think. I don't know about the older ones. A lot of them have still got pretty rough feelings about the British, you know, I think. The kids love us. We talk to them into having a little game of football. They're not very good at it, but yeah, it's good for public relations.
That's when you kept the change, too.
I think the refugee village is pretty rough, you know. I don't think I could live in a place like that after living in comfort for so long.
When it rains there, you can see what happened to this place. Everything will be underwater. Like the most fair deal, don't it? Yeah, I mean, the huts and everything they've put up are quite good, but they get a grant from the government to put them up.
Why don't they try leaving here, though, sir? And they got the money? Or
Why don't they leave here?
Try.
Most of the people that are here now are from the village just a mile away, which is in Turkish hands. And they're waiting, hopefully, for the day when they can go back. You know, most of the other people from Farm Augusta have moved out. I mean, there were 7,000 people here, and they're now only about 2,000 people left in the camp.
All the ones who really want to do now is go back to their own village. Just walk.
Some people have been, you know, housed with friends. New houses have gone up, and these people are just waiting, hopefully, for the Turks to move out of their town, their village. Okay, we'll go down to the end, back again, and that's it, okay? Cyprus is such a marvellous place with the good weather, the climate, and all the things you can do. It's what I joined the army for, to get around the world, and it's one of the last places left to go to. It's a pity for people who are married that it is an unaccompanied posting, but nowhere else you're going to get 6 months out in the sun and be paid for it, although the work is quite hard. You do get the weekends off. It's a beautiful place.
A beautiful place indeed. Not least for the riflemen of No. 1 Platoon, a beautiful place to demonstrate their informal relationship with their officers.
Right, you
People over in England, they tend to think that we're over here, with lovely sunshine, sea just down the road, sunbathing, nice and hot. But I mean, if you do it for 6 months, it's not much fun. Just sort of sitting there and swimming and things like this.
And it may look nice, sort of sitting here, supping coffee, sea just down there, beach, sun. What more do you want? Something to do.
What there was to do, we've done that many times, we're just sick of it.
Since I've been here, every other night I've been in the pictures. I've seen films that I've seen years ago and they bore me. Just to drink, that's all there is to do it here. Go down to the beach when you've got time off. Really, it's a long day really, because you have to get up early in the morning, PT first thing, sports all afternoon. You lose all track of time.
Well, there's only one place we sold you, really, isn't it? It's Northern Ireland. I'd like to come here for 2 weeks, then go to Northern Ireland, you know, for 4 months, and stay here for 6 months. I mean, it's going to be boring here for 6 months.
Here, you've got to be more courteous to the people, you know.
Didn't you like that?
Well, we ain't that used to it yet. It's going to take a while. Another thing is we can't understand them. They go waffling on, blah, 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 and you're going, yeah, yeah. They could be calling you anything. At least the Irish talk like you, and they call you anything.
Nah, I prefer to be back in England.
Bellyaching is part of the army way of life. In time of peace, it is notoriously difficult to maintain the discipline and training and morale of any fighting force. Only the best units succeed.
Right! We'll move to your right! Quick march! Go, right, go, right, go, right, go! That's not good enough!